To make its case for its new law against harmful internet content, the government turned to those impacted.
I may be one mother,
Including this mother whose daughter was sexually assaulted with the images shared online while in kindergarten.
She was told or taught to believe that sex or sexual actions between children and grown-ups was completely acceptable and normal.
Or this black entrepreneur who says she was insulted online.
On a utilisé le mot en haine à volonté.
They called me the N-word repeatedly, she said. The Online Harms Act would recognize 7 categories of harmful content, including content that sexually victimizes a child or re-victimizes a survivor, or is used to bully a child, incites violent extremism or terrorism, or foments hatred.
I'm terrified by the dangers that lurk on the internet for our children. We have rigorous safety standards for things like my son's Lego at home. Yet somehow, none for the most dangerous toy, the screen that is in front of our children's faces.
In order to enforce these new laws, the government is proposing a new digital safety commission. It would have the power to order online platforms to remove content that sexually victimizes a child or intimate images shared without consent within 24 hours.
They took a really measured approach.
This expert, one of many the government consulted, said limiting the scope of that ability was key to preserve freedom of expression elsewhere, but also pointed to one gap in the legislation, how it leaves out private messages.
If you talk to many, who study extremism and in the child protection community, they'll talk about how that's such a key vector for communicating extremist messages and child sexual abuse material.
While one opposition party had its own criticism.
Algorithms are not touched, and algorithms are what delivers the hate online.
So, Rafi, this bill also proposes some criminal code changes.
The government wants to increase sentences for online incitement of hatred, specifically for promotion or incitement to genocide. That would mean a maximum sentence that goes up to life imprisonment from the current 5 years.
And can you take us through what happens next with the legislation?
The NDP does want this law to pass, though a stronger version of it. It wants debate in the House of Commons. The Conservatives last week called it Justin Trudeau's latest attack on freedom of expression. They were quiet on Monday.
All right, Rafi Bouchikanian in Ottawa, thank you. So as you heard, a lot of the bill focused on children, protecting them from online bullying and exploitation. And as Michelle Gassoub shows us, for advocates who've long called for action, this was a step in the right direction.
Carol Todd says Bill C-63 might have helped her daughter Amanda.
The content used to bully a child, right? Content that induces a child to harm themselves. Those are all really important things. And that was all part of Amanda's life and her story.
She died by suicide at 15 after intimate photos of her were shared online. At the time, getting the photos taken down seemed near impossible.
And I tried to find somewhere to contact on a social media platform to get it taken down. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the button. I couldn't find a number. I couldn't find an email.
Under the new legislation, platforms would be expected to remove content that sexualizes children or victims of sexual violence within 24 hours of a complaint being filed. Failure to comply could result in a $10 million fine. But removing images online can be difficult, says this educator who works with victimized students.
Have I seen cases where students who've reached out to us made a report about concerning content and it wasn't addressed in 24 hours by a social network? Yes, I have seen that. So will organizations be able to maintain that? Time will tell.
The bill also shifts more responsibility onto online platforms, making it mandatory to report child pornography.
When you start seeing other countries moving in a similar direction with certain kinds of those harms, I think it does better facilitate some of the shared cooperation and the ability to enforce.
After over a decade of advocacy, Todd welcomes these changes.
Even if we have an act, it doesn't mean that as adults, as Canadian citizens, as parents and caregivers, educators, law enforcement, that we can't stop talking about it and teaching others and educating.
Hoping this bill will spur more conversations between parents and their kids. Michelle Gassoub, CBC News, Vancouver.